So this is homework for Mr. Reed's Year 11 Maths group for week 9. You notice the deadline is Friday, and that's the third strike, so please do make sure you come and see me if you get stuck. If it's the first time we've done homework on YouTube this year, probably best to give a few hints on how to do it. One thing I would say is watch the video, pause it when you get to a question, copy down the full details of the question, then answer the question, and then you can press play and continue, and so on. If you don't copy the questions down, you will find it quite difficult to then fix the questions when we do purple pen work later in the week, so please do follow that instruction. And actually, when we see the first question, you'll see that it's a construction question and you need compasses. And we have talked about this on the week running up to the holidays, and I mentioned it. You've got a week off, you've just had that week off, and you should have hopefully got yourself a compass by now. Very cheap, you can get one from somewhere like Wilkinson's, or they sell them at WH Smith's, so a bit more expensive from there. If you get a little math set, protractors obviously useful for angles, but actually compasses and a pencil are important for the constructions topic. So I have said here that you need to get one. I've told you about it a few times, and it is important that you realise these questions are not optional. Quite a few of you missed them out on the last homework, and actually what that means is you are not practising a really important topic that comes up every year. So can you please get yourself the right equipment, compasses mainly. On this first question it says draw 2 points A and B like this. They don't have to be exactly this far apart, but offset diagonally like this. And then it says shade the locus of points closer to A than B. Now that is something you're going to have to look up on YouTube, Google, find a website if you're not sure how it works. You could always come and see me before the deadline and I can show you how to do that construction, maybe after school if you get stuck. On to question 2. So actually there's several questions on this page. The first one is just simply what's the upper and lower bounds of 6 rounded to the nearest centimetre. Now question 3 is a repeat of that same question, but instead of just writing down your upper and lower bounds, for question 3 you have to do the same maths but write your answer as an error interval. And again, that might be something you need to look up online if you can't remember how that works. It involves inequalities, so that's quite a big hint. Question 4, I will give some hints as I give this homework out. This is a trigonometry question, SOHCAHTOA. This one doesn't work with SOHCAHTOA because there's no right angle, so that's a different form of trigonometry, not involving SOHCAHTOA. Question 5 on the next page. So this one here, we've got to solve a variety of equations of different kinds. It says in the instructions on the question to round to 1 decimal point where necessary. And actually that's because you might find that sometimes you don't need to. You might, on this one here, you might have whole number answers, for example. If you do need to have decimals as your answer, just round them where needed. On to question 6. This is a rearranging question. It says express x in terms of y. What that actually means is you want to rearrange each question so it is y equals something. So make y the subject of the formula. That's what's going on there. And then if we move on to the next page, question 7, this is again a construction question. You'll need the compasses that I mentioned on the first page. Draw an angle like this and bisect it. So again, it doesn't have to be exactly that angle, but an angle something like that, an acute angle like that. And then bisect it using compasses. You've got to keep all your construction lines on your drawing to get marks. And this is another example of where you'll copy down a line roughly like this and perpendicular bisect that line. In both cases, there are lots of simple videos online showing you how to do these skills if you've forgotten how they work. That's something to practice. We'll probably practice it each week until everybody can do it in test conditions, because it's very likely to come up in your real exam. On to question 9. This is the last question. You'll notice the little top cat, we've talked about him. It means some sort of problem solving situation, and I did actually mention this in class and there was a little bit of confusion over whether it was an estimate or an actual count of the number of fish in a lake. It is an estimate, and that's because the fish are all swimming about everywhere and you can't really count them. But if you were to catch 30 fish and mark them with a harmless research tag and throw them all back in, and then at some point in the future you were to catch some more fish and count the tags, it is possible to estimate the population of fish in the lake. So that's for part A. Part B is about what assumptions you've made. Now I did just say that the fish are all swimming about everywhere, so that is one assumption, but actually can you think about another assumption? Something to do with these tags and the fact that you've caught 50 and there are 6 tags. It's something to do with the tags or the number of fish in the lake, some sort of assumption, and that's worth a mark at the end of that question. Right, that's it. As I've said earlier, please do buy the right equipment so you can attempt the construction questions, and also come and see me before that Friday deadline if there's a problem completing this homework. I am expecting you to do all the questions. There's a little problem creeping in with this class where people are just doing the easy bits of the homework and missing out other bits. It would be good to see everyone do all the questions. That's it.